Sausage.
Hello, everyone. This is Attack the Backlog, the podcast where I, Mark Kuznez, tries to make a dent in their backlog one game at a time. This episode is all about G.I. Joe Operation Blackout, a third-person shooter full of so many yo-joes that you'll have you going, oh no.
You sure about that?
I feel like an idiot. I let my hopes get to me. I let my previous pleasant surprises like Jumanji the game and the Smurfs Mission Belief lead me down a path of disappointment because G.I. Joe Operation Blackout is not a pleasant surprise. It's a you probably should have expected a game of this quality all along surprise. Was I so wrong to get my hopes up? Is it wrong to go into a game many would write off as obviously going to be bad with optimism of the contrary? I think not, and to that point, I don't feel like an idiot. Does that mean I was lying when I said I feel like an idiot less than a minute ago? Yes, it does.
Oh shit! Get the fuck out of here! What are you doing? Go! Get the fuck out of here, you stupid idiot!
That said, I never want to go into a game expecting too much or too little because that's how you end up either disappointed or 100 hours into a game you don't actually like, having wasted so much of your life on a game that's not good but good enough. So is it actually good, or are you just good with games that aren't good because you, in the head, are the opposite of good?
I don't think so.
But I've digressed enough already in what is likely a subconscious attempt at avoiding talking about Operation Blackout for as long as possible, so let's rip that band-aid off and move on to greener pastures and no more Cobra commanders. Why am I sighing so much? Operation Blackout is a bad game. I know, you're shocked because I literally said that a minute ago. Also, before anyone asks, I didn't intentionally plan to follow up a Transformers game with a G.I. Joe game, it just happened.
What the hell?
And like Transformers, I have very little experience with G.I. Joe prior to this game. I may have watched some of the original animated series, but it was not one of my main shows growing up, and I never owned a single action figure. I've seen both live action movies and about 15 or so minutes of Snake Eyes, and yeah, let's just leave those where they are. Let me repeat in case you forget. Operation Blackout is a bad game, stretching over 17 missions going back and forth between the good guys and the bad guys. Most of the game consists of shooting wave after wave of enemies with loose controls and an annoying aim assist that far too often likes focusing on an enemy in the distance when there's one practically in your face. You can, of course, turn off aim assist, however, the occasionally annoying faulty focus is far better than having to deal with the loose and awful feeling controls when free aiming on a gamepad. If I was playing on PC, things might be different, but I wasn't, so they weren't.
Okay, you won.
Because these shooting controls feel so bad, the main way to play Operation Blackout is to spam the aim button on and off, constantly snapping at enemies for a few shots before losing them, requiring re-snapping and repeating until everyone is dead, as well as your enjoyment, let it be said. Never changes, never gets better, and is all you're doing outside of the few tank missions, which are just on-rail shooters that bore, lasting only a few minutes or so, never more. Quote the Raven, which is probably the name of some dumb G.I. Joe character, but I don't know, and that information I'm not craving. There isn't much else to say about the game. The story is whatever, the visuals are kind of nice, but when you focus on them, you'll notice a heavy use of dots in what is surely an attempt at eliciting that classic Ben-Day dots comic look, but it ends up being more of an occasional distraction than something that got me excited for more action. There is local co-op only, and that might be fun, getting to endure the experience with another, aka forcing someone to suffer along with you, but the lack of online co-op is unfortunate because I kind of wanted to drag someone along for the ride with me. I Wonder what Nelly is up to these days. Maybe if Operation Blackout was more than just wave-based shooting sections sandwiched between bits of walking, it would at least be somewhat memorable, but it isn't and never strives to be anything other than the most generic shooter it can be. But maybe the joke's on me and that was the plan all along. I mean, when you're making a game based on something as generic as G.I. Joe, isn't generic and boring the epitome of being all that you can be? Anyway, that will do it for this here episode of Attack the Backlog. Once again, I am Marcus Nez. Y'all can find me pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage, the site, the YouTube, the Patreon, the Discord, and so much more can be found over at pxsausage.com. But that is it. That is all. As always, thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoyed this here episode, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. So for now, adios, arrivederci, bye!
What's this airspace?